In the quiet, leafy streets of East Legan, 29-year-old Na Corley Mensa unlocks the gate to her dream villa. The air smells of fresh paint and new beginnings. She still can't believe it's hers. The house she bought after 5 long years of sleepless nights building her interior design company in K Spaces from scratch. That evening, her parents arrive with smiles and gifts. Her father brings a bottle of palm wine. Her mother carries a casserole, insisting, "A new house needs a home-cooked meal." Her older sister, ESI, waddles in, heavily pregnant and complaining about her back. "This place is beautiful, Na," ESI says, lowering herself carefully onto the sofa. "You deserve it," their mother adds, her voice sweet but edged with something unspoken. They toast, glasses clinking. Laughter fills the villa, bouncing off its freshly painted wall. For the first time in years, Na feels her family is proud of her. She worked herself to the bone for this. Countless late nights, endless client calls, tears no one saw. Tonight feels like a reward. But later, as she walks past the kitchen, she hears soft whispers. Her mother's voice first, low but clear. "We'll move ESI in after the baby comes." Her father agrees. Na doesn't need all this space. We'll convince her. It's for family. Na freezes in the hallway, heart pounding. Her smile fades. The laughter from earlier suddenly feels fake. The palm wine taste turns bitter in her mouth. They weren't celebrating her dream. They were already planning to take it. The morning sun poured through the glass windows, lighting up every corner of Na's new villa. She made breakfast quietly, her thoughts still circling what she had overheard the night before. Her parents walked in as if they'd lived there for years, her mother already rearranging the fruit bowl. Trying to sound casual, Na asked, "So, when are you all heading home?" Her mother gave a bright smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Oh, we were thinking of staying a little longer, to help you settle in." Na nodded slowly, though something in her stomach tightened. Help sounded innocent enough, but she soon learned what her mother really meant. Within hours, her father had moved her car to a better spot. ESI had taken over the guest room, and her mother was in the living room, frowning at her carefully chosen decor. "This gray couch feels so cold," her mother said, fluffing a cushion like she owned it. "You need more color, something homier." Before Na could reply, ESI chimed in. "And the dining table is too small. Once the baby comes, we'll need space for a high chair and everything." The word stung. By afternoon, her home no longer felt like hers. Her favorite vases were pushed aside for plastic flowers. Her carefully folded towels had been replaced with her mother's patterned ones from home. Every corner of her villa, her dream, was being rewritten. As she stepped into the hallway to catch her breath, she heard her sister on the phone. ESI's voice was soft but clear. "Don't worry, love," she said to her husband. "The villa's perfect for the nursery. Mama says we'll move in soon." Na froze. The words echoed in her mind, each one sharper than the last. Move in soon. They were serious. Her mother had planned it, her father supported it, and ESI was already claiming it. She backed away quietly and went to her bedroom, closing the door behind her. For a moment, she just stood there, staring at her reflection in the mirror. This was supposed to be her victory, the moment she finally rested after years of struggle. But instead, she felt cornered in her own house. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, Na sat alone in her designer kitchen. The marble countertop gleamed under the soft light, but she didn't see beauty anymore. She saw intrusion. Her piece was slipping through her fingers, and the people taking it were the same ones who raised her. She whispered to herself, barely audible, "They think I built this for them." Her voice trembled, but her eyes hardened. "Not this time. I won't let them rewrite my life again." Outside, the neighborhood was silent. Inside, Na made a quiet promise. To take back not just her house, but her boundaries, her freedom, and her peace. The next morning, Na drove to her parents' house, hoping maybe she'd misunderstood everything. Maybe her mother's late-night whispers were just talk. Maybe her sister was exaggerating. She wanted to believe that her family would never ask her to give up the one thing she worked so hard for. Her mother was sitting on the porch shelling groundnuts, looking calm and cheerful. Her father sat nearby, reading the newspaper. For a brief moment, Na almost smiled. It looked like a normal family morning. But the peace didn't last long. Before she could even sit down, her mother said casually, as if it were a small favor, "Your sister needs support. We think you should give her your villa, just until the baby grows." Na froze. "Give her my villa?" she repeated, her voice quiet but sharp. Her father folded his newspaper and looked at her as if the decision had already been made. "Yes. You can always get another one. You're young. You're single. She can't. Don't be selfish." For a second, she couldn't speak. It was like all the air left her lungs. Her hands clenched in her lap, and her chest felt tight. Selfish? That word cut deeper than they knew. "I worked for that house," she said finally, her voice trembling. "I didn't inherit it." Her mother sighed loudly and shook her head, her tone full of disappointment. "You've changed, Na. Success has made you proud. You used to think of family first. Na stared at her, the woman who taught her to pray before every exam, who once told her that hard work brings blessings. And now that blessing was being treated like something to hand over because her sister needed it more. Her father's voice rose. We sacrificed for you. We paid your fees. Now you can't even do this for your family? Each word landed like a slap. She wanted to shout that she'd already done enough, that she'd carried guilt for years, saying yes to every request, every loan, every favor. But instead, she stayed quiet. She stood up slowly. I have to go, she said. Her mother called after her, but Na didn't turn back. By the time she got to her car, her hands were shaking. She sat there for a long time, gripping the steering wheel, staring out at the road. It hit her that they didn't see her as a daughter anymore, just as a solution, a provider, a fallback plan. The line between love and manipulation had vanished. That night, she parked outside her villa and looked up at it, her lights glowing softly through the windows. For the first time, the house didn't feel warm. It felt like a battlefield waiting to happen. And sitting there, in the silence of her car, Na made up her mind. She wouldn't beg for peace anymore. This time, she'd fight for it. Na woke up early the next morning with her decision already made. There would be no more begging, no more hoping they would understand. She was done playing nice. Instead of arguing, she'd do what she did best, act quietly and smartly. She sat at her desk with a cup of coffee, her laptop open. Her fingers moved quickly as she emailed her lawyer. By noon, the villa was officially transferred to NK Spaces Holdings Limited, the business she built from scratch. On paper, the house no longer belonged to her personally. It was now a company asset. She was just the managing resident. That same afternoon, she called a locksmith to change the gate locks and security codes. Then she updated every bill, water, electricity, internet, all under the company's name. By the time the sun set, the villa was legally protected. It was no longer something her parents could guilt her out of. It was hers through her work, not through their control. The next day, just as she was finishing breakfast, she heard loud honking outside the gate. When she looked through the window, her jaw clenched. Her parents' car was parked out front, followed by a pickup truck loaded with boxes, a baby crib, and suitcase. Her mother stood by the gate, shouting orders. ESI leaned against the car, rubbing her belly, looking tired but determined. Na took a deep breath and walked out calmly, her sandals tapping against the pavement. She didn't rush. She didn't shout. She just pressed the button to open the small pedestrian gate. Her mother's voice rang out, sharp and impatient. Na, open this gate right now. We're moving ESI in today. Na looked at her, expression steady. I'm sorry, but you can't. This property now belongs to NK Spaces Holding. You'll have to speak to the company if you want access. Her mother blinked, confused. What do you mean? You are the company. Yes, Na said evenly. And as the company's representative, I'm telling you the property is not available. Her father stepped forward, furious. Don't play games, Na. Your sister is about to give birth. Then ESI shouted, her voice cracking. Are you crazy? I'm about to have a baby. You really won't let me in. Na's face softened for a moment, but her voice stayed firm. Then maybe you should have built your own nursery, she said quietly. For a few seconds, no one spoke. Her mother's face went pale, her father's fists clenched, and ESI began to cry. The movers shifted awkwardly, unsure what to do. Na closed the small gate and walked back inside, her heart pounding but steady. She leaned against the door, listening to their angry voices fade outside. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel guilty. She felt free, not because she shut them out, but because she finally stood her ground. The following weekend, Na's parents called for a family meeting. She already knew what it was about, but she went anyway, not to argue, but to finally be honest. The moment she walked into their living room, the air felt heavy. ESI sat on the couch with her arms crossed, looking angry. Her mother had red eyes from crying, and her father sat at the head of the table, his expression cold. As soon as Na sat down, her father slammed his palm on the table. After everything we did for you, this is how you treat us, he shouted. We sacrificed for you. We gave you everything. And this is the thanks we get. Na took a slow breath, trying to stay calm. You raised me, she said softly. And I'm grateful, but I built my life. Her father scoffed. Built your life? You think you'd have that life without us? Her mother started crying loudly. You've become heartless, Na. How can you watch your sister struggle while you live in luxury? That house is too big for one person. You're letting pride destroy this family. Na sat quietly, listening to the same old words she'd heard her whole life, guilt wrapped in love. She wanted to remind them of all the times she'd sent money home, helped pay ESI's bills, or fix things around the house. But she knew it wouldn't matter. No amount of giving ever made them satisfied. It only made them expect more. Then ESI stood up suddenly, her voice trembling with anger. You'll regret this, Na. You'll die alone in that big house. She grabbed her bag and stormed out, slamming the door behind her. The silence that followed was loud. Her father turned away. Her mother kept crying. And Na just sat there, staring at her hand. She wasn't angry anymore. She was tired. Tired of being the one who always gave, who always felt guilty for wanting peace. After a long pause, she stood up. "I love you," she said quietly, "but I'm done explaining myself." Then she walked out, her heart heavy but strangely steady. That night, back in her villa, she didn't cry. She didn't even replay the argument in her head. Instead, she opened her laptop and got back to work. She stared at the blueprint she'd been designing for weeks. A modern maternity clinic, warm and welcoming, built for women who needed care and dignity. As she adjusted the final details on the screen, a small smile formed on her lips. Maybe her family couldn't see her heart, but her work could. This new project wasn't about proving anything. It was about purpose, about creating something that gave life, not just took from it. She hit save on the proposal, whispered to herself, "I'm building peace, not permission," and closed the laptop. For the first time in years, she slept soundly. Weeks passed quietly after the family fight. Na threw herself into work, keeping her mind busy and her heart steady. Every morning, she drove to her office early, coffee in hand, and lost herself in design sketches and project meetings. The villa that once felt heavy with tension now felt peaceful, her space again. Her new project, Haven by NK Spaces, began to take shape. It was a maternity and wellness clinic designed to make mothers feel safe and supported, something ESI's situation had inspired, though Na never said that out loud. For the first time in months, she felt her energy returning. One night, while scrolling through social media, she came across a post in a women's entrepreneur forum. The topic was, "How do you set boundaries with family when success changes everything?" The comments were full of women feeling guilty for saying no. Na read through them quietly, then opened the reply box and started typing. She didn't name anyone. She didn't share details. She just wrote from the heart. "Never apologize for protecting what you've built. Boundaries are not betrayal." She hit post and went to bed, not thinking much of it. But by morning, her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Notifications poured in: likes, comments, shares. Hundreds, then thousands. Women across Ghana were tagging her, saying how her words gave them courage. Within a few days, the post went viral. Local media outlets began reaching out, asking for interviews. Business pages quoted her message. Even celebrities reposted it. Clients started calling NK Spaces, asking to work with her. Her inbox was overflowing with requests and congratulations. For Na, it wasn't about fame. It was about finally being understood. Her story had touched something real in people. She had spent years giving too much, apologizing for wanting her own peace. Now, other women were thanking her for saying what they were afraid to say. But not everyone was happy. One evening, her phone rang. It was her father. The moment she answered, his angry voice filled the line. "You embarrassed us publicly," he shouted. "Everyone in church is talking about you. You made your family look greedy." Na took a deep breath, keeping her voice calm. "I didn't name anyone, Papa." "That doesn't matter," he snapped. "People know who you meant. You've made us look bad." She paused, her heart pounding. Then she said quietly, "No, I didn't embarrass you. You embarrassed me privately. I just stopped covering for you." There was silence on the other end. Then he hung up. Na stared at her phone for a while, then set it down. The guilt that used to follow moments like this never came. Instead, she felt something new: strength. The storm had started, but this time, she wasn't afraid of it. She had finally learned how to stand tall in her own. Months passed, and life slowly settled into rhythm again. Na stayed busy with work, pouring her energy into Haven by NK Spaces, which was almost complete. The walls were painted soft pastels, sunlight spilled through wide glass windows, and every room felt calm, like a place meant for healing. It was everything she wished her sister had during pregnancy: comfort, care, and dignity. Then one night, her phone rang. It was her father, his voice shaky. "Yes, I's in labor," he said. "There are complications. We're at the hospital." Without a second thought, Na grabbed her keys and rushed out. The drive felt endless. Memories of their last argument played in her head. Her sister's angry words, her mother's tears, her father's silence. But none of that mattered now. This was family. When she reached the hospital, she saw her parents pacing outside the maternity ward, their faces pale. Her mother looked at her in surprise, as if she hadn't expected her to come. "She's in there," she whispered. "It's not going well." Na's heart pounded as she walked toward the room. Through the glass, she saw ESI lying weak on the bed, her face pale and exhausted. When ESI noticed her, tears welled up in her eyes. "You still came," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Na reached for her hand gently. "Of course," she said softly. "We're family, not enemies." ESI broke down crying. For the first time in a long time, the walls between them started to crack. A few hours later, the baby arrived, a tiny, beautiful girl. The doctor smiled, relieved. "The baby's fine," he said. But ESI needs to rest for a while. She shouldn't go home yet. Their mother panicked. But where will the baby stay? ESI can't care for her right now. Before anyone could answer, Na stepped forward. She can stay at Haven by NK Spaces, she said. It's ready. Her father frowned, confused. Haven? It's the maternity clinic I've been building, Na explained. I finished it last week. The family followed her later that evening to see it for themselves. When they walked in, they fell silent. The clinic was beautiful. Soft lighting, gentle music, rooms filled with warm colors and the smell of fresh flowers. Nurses greeted them kindly, guiding ESI to a private recovery suite. ESI looked around in awe, tears streaming down her face. You built this? She asked. Na smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her sister's forehead. You said you wanted a nursery, she said quietly. I built you one, for every mother who needs it. ESI covered her face, sobbing softly. Their mother stood beside her, speechless, eyes shining with pride and guilt all at once. For the first time in months, there was no anger, no blame, just love and understanding. Na had turned her pain into purpose, and in doing so, she'd brought her family back together. ESI's recovery at Haven by NK Spaces was slow but peaceful. The clinic had everything she needed: quiet rooms, kind nurses, and a warm atmosphere that made her feel safe. Every morning, she would watch her younger sister move through the halls, greeting patients, checking on mothers, and giving directions to her staff with calm confidence. For the first time, ESI truly saw Na, not as the stubborn sister who refused to share, but as a woman who had built something beautiful from nothing. She saw how mothers smiled when Na entered a room, how nurses looked up to her, and how even tired patients found comfort in her. It wasn't pride that drove Na, it was purpose. One evening, as the sun dipped low outside the wide glass windows, Na came to check on her sister. ESI was sitting on the bed, holding her baby, the little girl sleeping peacefully in her arms. For a moment, they just looked at each other. No tension, no resentment, just quiet understanding. ESI finally broke the silence. You didn't just build a house, she whispered, her voice soft but full of emotion. You built a legacy. Na smiled gently. I just wanted peace, she said. Turns out, peace builds more than property. Tears filled ESI's eyes. She reached out, squeezing her sister's hand. I'm sorry, Na, she said. For everything, for not seeing how hard you worked, for thinking you owed us your success. Na shook her head. You don't have to apologize. We were all doing what we thought was right. I just learned that love needs boundaries too. A few days later, their parents visited the clinic. They walked in quietly, looking around at the building their daughter had created. The waiting area was full of mothers and newborns, laughter echoing softly through the halls. Their father's eyes lingered on the plaque near the entrance. Haven by NK Spaces, where women build, heal, and rise. He turned to Na, his voice low. We were wrong, he said simply. We forgot what it means to earn. Her mother nodded, tears gathering in her eyes. You did all this, and still came when we needed you, she whispered. We thought we lost you, but maybe we were the ones who got lost. Na smiled, her expression gentle but firm. Family should lift each other, not take from each other, she said. I just needed you to see that. Her father placed a hand on her shoulder, not in control this time, but in respect. We see it now, he said quietly. ESI smiled from her hospital bed, watching the family come together again. The distance that once felt so wide between them had finally begun to close. For the first time in a long while, Na felt a deep calm in her chest. Forgiveness didn't erase the past, but it gave her peace, and that was the foundation she'd always wanted to build on. Months later, the air in Accra buzzed with excitement as the annual Design Excellence Awards took place. The ballroom at the Kempinski Hotel was filled with Ghana's top architects, designers, and entrepreneurs. Cameras flashed and everyone looked sharp, but for Na Mensah, it wasn't about the glitter. She was there representing Haven by NK Spaces, the project that had changed not just her career, but her life. When her name was called, she froze for a second. Haven by NK Spaces, winner of the Social Impact Design of the Year. The audience erupted into applause. Her heart pounded as she stood up, tears already forming in her eyes. She walked to the stage slowly, the lights warm on her skin, her mind replaying every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, every word of discouragement she'd once heard and ignored. As she took the award, the host handed her the microphone. Reporters leaned forward, waiting. She smiled at the crowd, calm, collected, and glowing with quiet pride. Sometimes, she said, her voice steady, family will try to turn your success into their comfort, but don't let guilt steal your growth. The room fell silent for a heartbeat. Then came the applause, loud, sincere, almost overwhelming. She looked out and saw ESI in the audience, holding her baby, clapping proudly. Their parents sat beside her, smiling, not with envy this time, but with admiration. For the first time, Na felt no tension in her chest, no guilt, no need to explain herself. After the ceremony, journalists surrounded her, asking about her inspiration for Haven. Na answered with honesty, not bitterness. I built Haven because I wanted women to have a place where they felt safe and supported. I know what it feels like to give everything and still be told it's not enough. I wanted to create a space that reminds women that what they build, their peace, their success, is worth protecting. Her words spread quickly online. Within hours, clips of her speech were trending across social media. People quoted her message, tagging her with stories of their own, about setting boundaries, choosing peace, and building legacies. Later that night, Na stood outside the event hall for a moment, away from the noise. She looked at the award in her hands, its gold surface glinting under the city lights. She thought about how far she'd come, from that first night in her new villa, when she overheard her family plotting to move ESI in, to this very moment, where she stood proud of what she had built, not out of anger, but out of love for herself and others. ESI came up behind her, baby in arms, and hugged her tightly. You did it, Na, she whispered. Na smiled, hugging her back. We all did, she said softly. It wasn't the applause that moved her. It was the peace of knowing she had stood her ground without hate. And that peace, she realized, was her greatest reward of all. The evening sky in East Legon glows with warm orange light as Na stands in her villa's garden, barefoot on the soft grass. The air is calm, filled with the sound of crickets and the faint laughter of her family. ESI sits nearby, feeding her baby while their parents chat softly on the patio, sipping palm wine and teasing each other about growing old. The tension that once filled the air between them is gone, replaced by quiet understanding. Na lifts her niece into her arms. The baby giggles, grabbing at her necklace, her tiny hands full of life. Na smiles, her heart full. Just a year ago, this same garden had felt lonely, a place where she fought tears, unsure if she'd lost her family for good. Now it feels alive again, but on her own terms. Her voice plays softly in the background, steady and warm. They once planned to take my home. Now they visit my clinic, proud of what I built. The camera moves slowly through the garden, catching the glow of lanterns reflecting off the villa's white wall. In the distance, the lights from Haven by NK Spaces shimmer across the horizon, a symbol of everything she endured and everything she created. Her voice continues, calm but powerful. Sometimes, protecting your space isn't selfish. It's sacred. As the baby laughs again, Na looks toward the horizon, the sunset painting the sky gold and pink. The camera pans up, showing the villa surrounded by peace. No chaos, no guilt, just growth. In the distance, the clinic sign shines softly under the evening sky. Haven by NK Spaces, where women build, heal, and rise.